Climate change is negatively affecting agriculture in Delaware. In order to stop this issue, today, we will be having a discussion on how to limit carbon dioxide emissions throughout society and farms as a whole. Today, you'll be hearing from an EPA scientist who wants to add government regulations in order to benefit the environment, a poultry farmer who is combating climate change in order to keep his agribusiness up and running, a consumer who's looking to find profitable means to find food and help the environment, and a Purdue executive who means to find food to feed millions.
CO2 is a colorless, odorless gas produced by burning oil, coal, and gas, which is done every day. We even breathe out carbon dioxide. But what happens when there's too much of it in the atmosphere? It causes the temperature on Earth to rise, more commonly known as climate change.
Climate change also negatively affects human health as well. Scientists foresee an uptick in heat stress, poor air quality, waterborne infections, and a rise in diseases and infections spread by rodents and insects, all to increase due to global warming. This not only negatively harms us, but it harms the environment we live in and the food we consume.
With food being involved in this issue, our food supply depends on weather and climate conditions. When it comes to agriculture, we're being hurt because of increased temperatures, water stress, and diseases.
Global warming will impact small chicken businesses along with large corporations. Delaware is the #1 producer for poultry, along with Sussex County being the #1 county in the U.S. About 18% of the total poultry production and exports have come from the U.S., which makes it the second largest exporter in the whole entire world. When it comes down to it, poultry plays a big role in everything.
Now, look at the old chicken houses that Delaware used to have in the history. It was very small, but now we have large houses for chickens to produce meat. But with the rising of sea level, we have flooding, which is causing chickens to die very quickly.
The poultry industry is heavily influenced by economic growth. Climate change has already cost the government $350 billion over the past decade. By 2050, that number is expected to reach $35 billion per year. However, we can slow this down by programs like the Advanced Research Agency, as well as regulations like fuel efficiency.
Beef is the #1 livestock contributor to carbon dioxide emissions. It is also one of the most costly meats on the shelves today, meaning more often than not, I'm feeding my family chicken throughout the week. And I'm not the only one. A recent study by poultryworld.net found that U.S. consumption of chicken rose to about 58 kilograms per person. However, this number may falter in recent years due to a decrease in poultry production. This is due to global warming and a rise in heat stress. But if we cut beef out of our diet, we can decrease the carbon dioxide emissions in livestock by 2/3. This will take us one step closer to reaching our goal of finding a more sustainable food system.
The death rate of chickens have increased a lot. The price of chickens have also gone up because of the loss of chickens. Some say an economic shortage is on the horizon, and the diseases have really increased throughout the country.
A growing population has also affected poultry death and also poultry production. The demand for affordable food like chicken has played a huge role in recent years. If we need to find an affordable food that can also be helpful to the environment?
The poultry industry is heavily influenced by trade deals with other countries. If climate change were to decrease the poultry industry in the US, this could damage relations with other countries.
The poultry industry must thrive in order to sustain food for the future. We must also help small farmers in this fight by adding to their productivity by supporting them through climate change. Discussing the pros and cons of this issue will be an EPA scientist who's looking to cut carbon dioxide emissions anywhere possible, a consumer who is trying to find profitable food choices and help the environment, and a local farmer and a Purdue executive who are each trying to help their farm or agribusiness.
Runoff causes water quality issues from chicken farms. Farmers need to adopt new safety measures to keep our poultry safe because it is so essential to our diet.
With these houses being so big and the increase of profitability, we have less chickens because of this problem. But we need scientists to help us investigate what's going on, how chickens can adapt to these conditions.
About 8% of the total greenhouse gas emissions have come from poultry, while cattle has 65%. That's a huge difference. A study by Tulane University showed that if you ate the same amount of poultry instead of cattle, will reduce your carbon footprint by 50%. But when it comes down to it, our diet plays a huge role in our daily lives.
Climate change is already here and affecting Delaware. The Delaware assessment found that the sea level rising will hurt 75 natural resources, which includes poultry. If Delaware citizens do not find a solution to this problem, 75 natural resources will be damaged, including poultry.
Now, when it comes to poultry, the carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere isn't so much us. It really is the producing of energy and how much it's increasing. But when it comes to poultry, we do have pollution in the water.
Poultry is the least affecting cause in our environmental issues. We need to, if anything, we need to increase poultry farming.
While we're increasing poultry farming, we need to decrease the production of beef and use that land instead to possibly grow more crops, trees, and other vegetation to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emissions that enter the atmosphere. In this way, by cutting beef production, we can also limit the travel used to spread this beef around the globe and allow us to focus on helping small farms, which is very important because providing for them means providing for the rest of the local places. And it helps climate change, and it helps them combat climate change, and it helps me feel comfortable by finding ways to help, by providing for my family for food that's nearby. So what is the solution to this agricultural issue? There are many people around the globe that are affected by climate change. And there are so many vested viewpoints that have so many stakes in this argument. That's why we need to understand the complexity of the problem and take into our own hands means to find ways to help everyone. Thank you.